Hey everybody, my name is AB and I'm from Brooklyn and I am 29 years old. Allow me to introduce myself and to explain why I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing this podcast because I really want to make people smile and I want to make people laugh. It was always my intentions from a little kid to always be goofy, stand out, and be a completely different than other people in terms of authenticity. And I have ADHD. That's what I meant when I said introduce myself. I like to use that as a motivator for me to achieve my goals, to work with all different kinds of people from different backgrounds, and I also like meeting different people. And when I get to meet different people, I get to really understand what they want to do, and we get to build together. And to me, that is more important than going to college, is to have your networking skills on point because at the end of the day, I also want to make money so I can be financially free and live the life of a dream that I've always had since I was a kid and to be completely independent and rely on myself and rely on the skills that I adapted throughout the years. I really hope that people join this podcast and get a completely different perspective because I think it's important that people that want to succeed in some aspects in terms of if it's career or in a relationship or even getting along with people that are older or different is that you have to look at yourself in a deeper meaning and put yourself in their shoes and realize that just because somebody is having a bad day or you're having a bad day or you don't necessarily like this person or they don't like you or you don't get along or they don't get along with you, it doesn't don't take things personal because if you take things personal you're not going to be able to grow as a man. Well, I'm talking about for me right now, even though this podcast is not about me. I'm using my experience so I can help others. Because when you learn from your past mistakes, trial and error, you will get better. I guarantee you that. Because when you really fuck up and you're at the bottom, and excuse me for using profanity, but my podcast sometimes, when we use different words, it could have a deeper meaning. At the end of the day, I want people to take what I'm saying seriously. So for future references, I will try my best not to curse because it's not a good look for me. And that's important. Self-image is one of the most important things for me because at the end of the day, my word and my reputation is my bond. That's who I am. So that's what I was saying about getting along with others. I think it's so important that people come together, especially at this time, especially in times where, we're living in uncertainty and, tomorrow's never a guarantee. You could have $1 million today and tomorrow you don't have anything. Count your blessings while you're here on this earth. Be grateful for whatever you have. Be happy that we have running water and you have food, you got a table. Be grateful for everybody that's been in your life, for the good, the bad, and use that as a motivator. And always know that there's always room to keep going. Self-improvement is not a progress, it's about progression, meaning that it's an everyday thing. Like, I am so not perfect in any way. I am not where I want to be, I promise. I am not doing this podcast for money. I am doing it because I really want to look at the deeper meaning of things and I want to get closer to my goals in terms of spirituality. That's part of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast. Other reasons why I'm doing this podcast is because when I talk to my friends and we have different discussions and discussions lead to conflict or any type of disagreement or miscommunication, I always say the same thing. I'm very repetitive. As people know, I'm a very repetitive person because I don't feel like I'm being heard 9 out of 10 times because a lot of people don't think that I make sense. But if they actually pay attention to what I am saying, I make sense. Two people could be the most logical people and still get the same answer. Like 2 times 2 is 4. Or you could do 2 plus 2 is 4, even though that's not how you get the answer. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, people have to realize that there's different types of logic. There's logic in learning, logic in speaking to people, logic in conversations, and different areas of life. And I think that that's somewhat been a challenge for me with ADHD is because I could be a very logical person in some areas, but I'm also very passionate about certain things. Like, what fascinates me is architecture. I've been fascinated since I was a kid. And I never really went to school because, I was a troublemaker in school, but that's not why I'm talking about, this podcast. The point is, look at the deeper meaning into yourself. Look at the mirror and see who you are. And realize and reflect and realize that you have the motivation. You have it. If you wake up in the morning, that's a motivation. I don't like to use motivations as a scapegoat. The fact that I get to wake up every single day means that I'm able to go to the gym. I have feet to walk. So I don't like it that people have to, have these crazy excuses. I don't have time. I don't have this. If something is so important to you, you will make time. I promise you that. I don't have time too for certain things. Believe me, I make time for things that are important. Like, I'm making a podcast right now, walking in one of the coolest neighborhoods on Long Island, and seeing one of my childhood's best movies out there. And everybody could be doing something else. Everybody could be doing, what pleases them. But sometimes the most important thing is to get out of your comfort zone and understand that it's okay to grow. It's okay to try different things. I'm very adventurous. I like trying new things. I always tell my friends I want to try, skydiving, and everybody thinks that I'm crazy, but I'm a very adventurous kind of person. So this podcast is going to be about different topics. First of all, nothing is off the table. I'm a very controversial person, extremely controversial. So if I say something that you don't like, or you may find offensive or no meaning to you, by all means, you guys have every right to contact me, to email me, text me, DM me on Instagram. I will respond. I literally talk to people all day long, and I'm still alive. At the end of the day, I'm very passionate about certain things. Like I said before, I'm willing to talk about pretty much anything. I don't care what the topic is about. Even if I don't like the topic, I guarantee you I will have an opinion. However, my podcast is not going to be focused on religion, race, or sex, and no racism allowed on my podcast. If I know somebody is speaking racist towards a group of people or a specific person, and I find out about it, I'm going to come after you guys because that's not what my podcast is about. People have to understand intentions behind things, why people do things. Okay? I'm doing things because I want to bring the youth together. We have a problem right now with the youth. We have, people are still surviving from Corona, I guess. I don't really know exactly what's going on because I'm somewhat living in a bubble, unfortunately. And that's just because I want to do better. People are literally struggling out there. People have severe depression. People are literally out there right now seeking for help. And they cannot find the proper help. And I said proper. People are seeking guidance. Okay? People are sad. There was an earthquake yesterday in New York City. People were panicking that I've not seen in a while. And I'm just like working out at the gym and talk slow, minding my own business. I'm like, you all need to chill out. I promise you the world is not ending. I promise. God is here to save the people that want to be saved. Okay? That's literally what the podcast is all about. look at yourself in the mirror and a deeper meaning of yourself and do better. Because you can do better. You have to change, we have to change the way we articulate our words, especially me. It's hard because when you don't go to school for so many years, we start talking very childish. We're not able to use our words in a proper manner, and society will view somebody who dropped out of school seriously, and they're not able to be productive in today's world because they don't have the proper words to express what they actually want, even though they know exactly what they want, and it's right there in front of them the entire time. So I really hope that this podcast not only gets shared to millions around the world, internationally, but here at home in my backyard in New York, because I pray to God in spirit that everybody has a healthy life in terms of getting the, I said proper health, okay? Because if you're not getting the proper help and you're just getting help to get a short-term result for a long-term issue, problem, you're only putting a band-aid on it. Now, I'm not saying to people, go out there and spend thousands of dollars on, I don't know, a cold or something, because I don't do that. What I said to you before, what makes me motivated is that I have the right people that are in front of me. Everybody that's in my life right now, good people. Because if they're not, I would have cut them off. All the bad people that were in my life, present, before until now, are out. That's why I said present. They're not in my life anymore. If you see somebody that's not going where you're going and they're not in your lane and you're not ready to take, businesses, and you're not ready to really build, and you're not ready to change your perspective, and you just want to be hard-headed, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay? You're going to stay, you're just going to go down, because at the end of the day, it's like, where are you trying to go? There's a saying, you cannot stop a man if the man knows where he's going. I know exactly where I'm going. So I really, really hope that this podcast not only changes people's perspectives and ideas, but at least try to be creative and open up your mind and think of all the possibilities and the change that you can be if you really want to change. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you can change. You could make your world better. I didn't say the world. Your world. That's literally why AB's world. I had many obstacles. Right? We all have obstacles. Everybody in this life is meant to meet that person. I believe that. I believe in human connection. 100%. So there's many people in this life that I've met that I didn't really necessarily agree with. As a matter of fact, people that I work with, right, like past managers, I don't think that they would have anything really nice to say about me, but they wouldn't have anything crazy to say about me either. Like, oh, this guy AB, he's XYZ, or he's a bad person where he's constantly coming late. Even though I do come late, I just think that people have a different way of talking and looking at the world. That doesn't make them a bad person. That doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that you both need to take your differences aside and you guys need to make it work. Because relationships is literally a two-word. Relationship. 2 words, 3 syllables. Now, in terms of, there are certain people in my family who I didn't really necessarily get along with due to conflicts and stuff that was going on that I didn't agree with. But you know what made me realize is that we're here for a short amount of time. Life is too short for me to start, blaming this person or blaming that one or this person did this. It's hard to take accountability when you're not 100% grown, right? We expect that everyone teaches us everything, and then the school teaches you this, They're not going to teach you shit. You got to learn. It's hard for me to learn. It's hard to learn new things. I promise. You're so programmed to be thinking one way. And then when you leave that one way of thinking and you want to become this massive entrepreneur, and you know that you can, which is funny because so many people have told me you cannot be an entrepreneur. I 100% can and will be, and going to be a business owner first because I know I could do it. So when you stop the self doubt and you start really speaking to yourself, not in the most positive way, but positivity will bring light into your life, but in a realistic way. Because I tell you this right now, I have a horrible voice. I'm just giving myself as an example. I know I cannot sing. That's not one of my talents. That doesn't mean I cannot dance. So you have to find what you're good at, right? Become a good work on your becoming a better dancer, and then you can maybe get singing lessons to become a good singer. Because not everybody's going to be good at everything at that moment. That's why you see, like, you have a lot of celebrities that come out making music, right? A lot of rappers come out with music. They may not know how to do anything else besides singing, right? That's really what that's the only talent is singing. We all know that's not true. How do I know that? Because look at Rihanna for an example, right? Rihanna literally made music and she stopped making music like almost 8 years ago, I believe. I'm not even following her, but just thinking because then she came up with this line Fenty, with lingerie for women and underarm stuff for men, like socks, underwear, all that stuff. I don't even know the proper word to use, but I said underarm stuff, whatever. That's really why she became a billionaire. She explored her other talents. She expanded her horizons. And I think that's really what the problem is with the youth, is that they are so focused on mental health, competing against each other, but they're not willing to look at themselves and say, hey, look, I know I have a talent in this area. Let's do something about the talent. And let's see how I can make my world better, my life better. It doesn't get easier. Life does not get easier. Life gets better. That's a fact. Life will never get easier. It will get better. I promise. It will never get easier. Because every single day that you wake up is another challenge. It's another test. God tests me all the time with my patience. Right? I'm a type of person that doesn't really have patience, but I have patience at the same time. It depends. I have patience for the things that I don't want to happen instantly, that could wait. For an example, I have patience not to get a car. Even though I want a car, I have patience. But I'm trying to get 2 licenses right now in New York. I don't have patience. I want the 2 licenses right now. Believe me, I want to start selling houses in New York. I want to get that real estate license, and I'm working on it. I will do everything in my power to make sure that it happens, because I know people that are in real estate and they are extremely successful, and I know that I can be just as successful because I talk to just as many people, because I already have the people skills. What I need to have is the knowledge and the expertise, so I don't sound like a dummy when I'm in front of people. Because if you sound stupid and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, people are not going to take you seriously. And I think that is a confidence issue. I don't necessarily think that's an academia issue in terms of like academics, because sometimes there's a saying, believe it or not, you fake it till you make it. What that means is sometimes you gotta kiss ass with certain things. I don't like kissing ass. I don't like kissing ass because I really did work somewhat, I said somewhat hard for everything that I got. Like when I passed my road test, people couldn't believe it. People thought I cheated. And that kind of violated me because it took me like 20, 30 times and I did not cheat. I made sure that day, I said, look, I'm not going to fail today, because if I fail, I'm never going to drive again. And we know that's not going to happen. I was 28 years old. I 100% with my gut knew that I was going to pass. And the only reason why I 100% knew I was going to pass was not because what anyone else had to say, it's because I performed 150%. Not 100, 150. I made sure to drive with caution. I did every step. I followed the script. Okay? I followed the script, and it was hard because, there are people on the road that drive recklessly, and when you drive reckless and you have another person in the car that's not experienced, it could be a little bit intimidating, right? So the best thing is for you to be calm. Because if you're not calm, you're going to fail. Because if you're not calm, you're going to do something stupid, and that dumb thing that you're going to do could be minor, and it doesn't matter. You failed because you were nervous. This all is about confidence. How you boost your confidence is to know exactly who you are and know what you want and go get what you want. It's a 3-step strategy. And sometimes it's hard for me to take myself serious because I sometimes have self-doubt with myself because, it's been a struggle in terms of getting the word out, and people really think that I talk a lot about myself and they know everything about me, but they don't. Okay, they don't live in my life. They don't live in my hood. They don't have my family situation, meaning they don't know who my family is. They don't know anything about my religion background unless I specifically tell them. And I think that, we all have barriers, right? My barrier is that I talk a lot. And that could be a great thing, or it could be a horrible thing. Because at the end of the day, my mouth literally got me everything that I ever wanted, which is crazy because I had a teacher, not to get off topic, I had a teacher in 10th grade. 10th grade. I really liked him. Why? Because he taught me a lesson. What lesson did he teach me? I don't forget the lessons that I was taught in high school. He said silence is golden. That to me is true. Sometimes you got to take the 3-step back and think about where you're going before you go. Right? It's great to be spontaneous. I love being spontaneous. As a matter of fact, I'm not even in New York City right now. I'm in a completely different place that I've never been to. Or if I was here, it's been like 25 years ago, 26 years ago. Okay, I'm in this completely different part of New York State. But off topic. Anyways, I think that if you really want to achieve your goal, you really have to write that goal 1,000 times. Everything is repetitive. So when I say something, it's because I forget. Because I have so many thoughts in my mind. People sometimes don't understand how my brain works. But I understand how my brain works. And that's the only thing that matters, because I know exactly who I am. Okay? People don't have to know. I'm okay if people are not knowing. Because people are going to judge. People are going to slander your name because they think that, that they could do better than you. Nobody could do better than you. You could do better than yourself. It's not a competition. I promise you, I'm not in it for competition. There are tons of people that have podcasts that I've listened to, and I've learned a lot. One of the things that I learned is from this lady, when I was watching her podcast, she said, never talk about yourself. And it made me realize that, hey, look, I'm not in it for me, right? I'm in it for the audience. I'm here to entertain. I'm here to give the people what they want because they deserve it. The youth deserves better. I want to be the spark in the wind. I want people to be happy. Because when we're happy, we could think. I don't like this dark energy and gray area. I don't like that. I'm not saying to be happy every day because I'm definitely not happy every day. No way. But I think that when we really take our talents and gifts together, we could accomplish anything. Anything in the whole world. We have to unite and understand that there's a lot of factors in mental health, right? There's food, there's peer pressure, phone, internet, social media, bad friends. All this stuff is all relevant to a mental health crisis. The government's going to be doing what they're doing. And I think that once people look at the entire picture and they look at their circle, they look at themselves, they look at their families, and they look and they say, this person's supporting me, this person's not, Everything is, at the end of the day, probability. At the end of the day, you know, people are living, people are dying. The circle of life. So my message for this podcast is that you stay in your lane and you be yourself. Don't ever change for anybody. I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care where you currently are right now. You know, you could be traveling on an airplane. I don't know. Always remember, stay true to your gut and to yourself. It doesn't matter because people don't care about people. That's just the time we're living in right now. It's a sad reality. Okay? And that's something that I realized and I learned the hard way because at the end of the day, I like people. I like energy, right? But if I don't like you, I don't like you. It's just, I'm an Aquarius. That's what it is. We're living in the age of Aquarius, where all the information that we need is out there. We have AI. We have Instagram. Like I went today to the barber shop on Instagram on Long Island. Like this guy has millions of followers, you know, and I went to the shop. It was a great time. Sorry about that. That was probably my headphones. It was a great time. And believe me, I was there for 3 hours and I left there with a big headache. Still had a great time. Met a few people there and that shop was very authentic and everybody was laughing because I was funny, they were funny, we were talking about a whole bunch of different topics and it was great. So anyways, at the end of the day, you have to have some sort of knowledge of who you are if you ever want to change. It could be hard when you're young and you're going through something and you want to try to leave your mom's house, but you don't really have any sort of direction of how you're going to do it. I say that you literally start talking to as many people as possible and you start talking to anyone in your neighborhood who may be able to help you find an apartment or know of something, and you got to do the rest, meaning you got to talk to everybody. You can't do anything without not talking to anybody. That doesn't work. You can't be a ghost. You could lay low, but you cannot be a ghost. If you see something, say something is a real saying. Like, that's how I literally found my apartment, right? Somebody called me, and they were like, yo, you know, you're about to leave your mom's house. I said, oh, yeah? They were like, yeah, call this person. I said, okay. I called that day last year, June 1st. I'm almost there a year now. And I made sure that I was going to make every single attempt to get that apartment. Oh, God knows. I was on the phone for hours every single day until I made sure. You know, I had to make sure with my money, and I had to make sure it was suitable for me. And, you know, they were going to accept me as a tenant. There are a lot of people that are looking at apartments, so you have to be on top of it. Get your checkbook and be a serious tenant. And, you know, have a good name, have a good reputation, have some sort of job and income. Make sure you're not hanging around bums and you're not having girls over at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're drunk and you can't go to work. They're not looking for that. I promise you, they're not looking for any of that. You don't have to have $1 million to move out, okay? Even though New York City is one of the most expensive places in the world, I'm not paying $1 million for my apartment because I can't afford it. But I made sure I did whatever I can to leave my mom's house. I live in a studio, okay? I don't live in a basement. I live in a studio. And I made sure with my mouth and my resources and my networking connections, and it worked out. I'm telling you guys, people are afraid to talk. That is literally what the issue is. When you're afraid to talk and you're afraid to speak up for what is right, and you feel pressured by your friends and you feel pressured by everybody around you, and you're afraid that you're not like them or you don't fit in, you already lost the game, because at the end of the day, what are you trying to prove to these people? Right? Are you trying to prove that you're better than them? Because at the end of the day, that's a sense of entitlement. Everything in this life is also about perception, right? I don't like it when people come over to me and they say, oh, this and that about me and this and that. Everything in this life is about perception. Okay, we have to be very, very logical when making decisions. And I really hope that you guys love this podcast. And make sure to follow my Instagram page at Abby's World 718. If you guys want to have any questions, any topics that want to be discussed, let me know because this is just my introduction, and I really hope that you enjoyed listening to what I have to say, and it somewhat changed your life for the better, and it brings some light in the future. And going forward, you should have strength and the courage and the ability to achieve your goals on your path in the way you want to achieve the goals. Bye for now.